Okay, I think we are live. Hi, everyone, or I guess I should say hi, no one. No one's here yet. I didn't actually announce this. This is basically an impromptu Ask Hugo I'm going to be doing because Jake and I were going to record today. Maybe, who knows, but we decided not to, or maybe we're going to later, so I had a little bit of time on my hands, so I figure I'll take half an hour or so to go ahead and answer some of your questions. Wow, I'm already getting people. Cool. So you guys go ahead and ask questions. There is super chat. I'll try and get to as many as I can, but if you use a super chat, I'll probably be more likely to see your question. And let's see what we got. Ooh, already people saying they like the haircut. That's nice. Thank you. Didn't get a haircut, just not wearing a hat, actually. I know. Normally I wear one. Did not today. Hugo, how much to put it into your butt? That's not a complete thought. I think you're stumbling. You're close to a really good question there. Maybe tweak that again, go through the rough draft a couple more times, and then we'll take another stab at that one. Someone says, if my husband and I paid for you and Jake's tickets to the Creation Museum, would you be willing to go? Actually, one of our Patreon goals is to someday go to the Creation Museum, go to the Ark Encounter. We talked about it in, I think, our recent patron-only live show or whatever we call it. Part of the problem with going to the Creation Museum at this point is now they're kicking out atheists if they're aware they're atheists. And while we're not famous or anything, I feel like our activities at the Creation Museum might come off as suspicious. So we'd have to get actual, like, spy camera stuff, like probably like camera glasses or something like that. But still, we do plan on doing that eventually as a Patreon goal. We'll just have to plan and be sneaky about it. Someone else asks, can you play the guitar, or is that just for show? I bought that guitar fairly recently with the intention of learning to play it, and that is still my intention. I plan on playing that eventually, but as of right now, it's mostly just a prop we use for gags and stuff. But yeah, someday maybe I'll be able to serenade you lovely people. How often do you guys use to see butt pugs? What? See, I go into these questions assuming, because it looks like your sentence structure is all right. And it looks like it's going to be that of a normal human being, and then halfway through it looks like you had a stroke. If you guys could wait until the end of the sentence to have the stroke, it would make this much easier for everyone involved. What are your thoughts on George Carlin? I like George Carlin. Very funny guy. Wonderful in Tarzan 2. Boobs or butt? Butt. Boobs, butt. Your pictures are crooked. Fix them, fuckstick. I know they're crooked. I'm actually in the process of moving, too, because if you guys don't know, Jake got a house. I got a house down the street from Jake because we're both creepy weirdos. So that's why stuff is down and other pictures are up. So it's dishevelly. Hey, Hugo, did you get the Kevin Sorbo DVD yet? Kevin Sorbo DVD? Did you send us a Kevin Sorbo DVD? Did we get one? We must not have gotten it yet. If you sent us one, we didn't get it yet. But I'll check the P.O. box. I haven't checked it in a couple weeks. Someone else says, I love the idea of you two going into the Creation Museum undercover. I love the idea even more as a movie. Yeah, I wonder who would play us. Probably much better looking people. Brad Pitt and the guy from The Martian, Matt Damon. But they both have to gain 300 pounds. I think that'll work. Hot damn, why does Hugo look sexy as fuck? Good question. It's because I lost about 40 pounds. So, actually, just exactly 40 pounds. Opinion on Defenders. We're going to do a Defenders live stream review at some point over on Unpopular Culture, I'm sure. But Defenders was fun when the characters were interacting, but the hand is not interesting, and I wish it didn't focus on them. Sigourney Weaver didn't need to be there at all. Literally, the reason they casted Sigourney Weaver, it felt like, was because the writing for that character was so terrible. They felt if they didn't put someone like Sigourney Weaver in that role, people would have gone, that was the villain. And then they switched the villain to Elektra halfway through, and you're like, I don't really care about Elektra. Overall, I enjoyed Defenders. It could have been better. I think from Iron Man to Avengers was a good. It gave us what Iron Man promised at the end. I feel like Defenders didn't totally give us what Defenders or what Daredevil promised us when it sort of implied we were going to get Defenders, if that makes sense. Hey, Hugo, you want some fuck? I'm good, actually. I look different. I do look different. Do I think Trump will... Oh, sorry. The thing's scrolling. Do I think Trump will make it through 4 years without being impeached? I could go either way at this point. It depends on that investigation Mueller's doing. I have no idea. I do follow that. I follow politics fairly closely. I try not to talk about it a ton on here, though if you ever follow me on Twitter, you know I am an insufferable cunt. So, depends on the investigation, what they turn up. That guy fucked up Enron, though, so if anyone can get Trump out, it is that guy. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure he won't win re-election, though, if he does make it 4 years. He's pretty unpopular. Historically, he has the lowest approval rating of any president at this point ever. So. Will I please come to the Discord, Patreon chat more, please? I know I should go to the Discord more. I just find in my day-to-day, even though I do this for a living and it seems as though I really, really need attention, surprisingly, not really. I really like private time. I like to be alone. I like to watch movies and read books and magazines and internet articles on my own and be in my own little bubble. But I will try as an attempt to be out there more for you guys. Sorry about that. Like, I'm doing things like this. I'm trying to be more part of our fan community. Wellington Smith, you didn't ask me a question, but thank you for the $10 super chat thing. That was very nice of you. By the way, if you want me to see your question, it helps if you put at the Bible Reloaded and then it highlights it in the chat. So anyone asking questions, that's the best way to do that. What's my favorite biblical character? Interesting question. The obvious one you got to go for is just Yahweh himself because of his weird tendency to want to go to war with things, how upset he gets with his chosen people. But I'm not going to go that route. That's too easy. I'll say Moses, because Moses has one of the clearest arcs, I think, of any of the patriarchs. He has his upbringing in Egypt. He kills a guy, goes out into the wilderness, talks to God. I mean, there's a reason that it's a foundational story in Western storytelling. I forget who it is, but they basically say there are only a certain number of stories, something like 7 stories that keep getting retold over and over and over in different ways. And basically the Moses story, leaving home, going to the wilderness and coming back as a savior to come and bring people free. It's such an archetype, and I think Moses really embodies that. And if you haven't seen The Prince of Egypt or The 10 Commandments, I recommend both highly. Thank you guys for using the app Bible Reloaded. I can see you're doing that now. Helpful. If Pennywise were to stalk you, what would he manifest himself as? Ironically, probably a spider, like he does actually in the book at the very end when you see his kind of true form or whatever. I really, really hate spiders. So either a spider or a swarm of spiders. I did like it, by the way. I did see it. Could Jake and I arm wrestle? We could. Jake would win, though. I am incredibly weak. Favorite Stephen King story? I love the Twilight Zone story he wrote, The Jaunt. It's the scariest story I've ever read. Favorite Stephen King story? I'm not really a big fan of Stephen King. I can respect the amount and volume of work he has put out over the years. But if I had to pick, it'd probably be it. Misery's good. Shawshank Redemption. I'm basing these on the movies. I haven't read a lot of Stephen King's books. That's just, sorry, I haven't. I have a VHS of Bibleman 2000 Technology Special. Can I send it to you? We do have a P.O. box, which we showed off in the Chick Tract video that came out today. However, I already have access to all the Bibleman episodes, so if you want, you can send it to us, but we probably already have access to it. But feel free if you want to. Where did I get that snazzy jacket? I bought this jacket at Coles. So there you go, Coles. You get a shout out for some reason. Congrats, Hugo. Just woke up with a superpower. What is your terrible and useless superpower? Terrible and useless. Let's say I can fly, but only like a millimeter above the ground and not any faster than walking speed. Okay. Let me scroll down a little bit. Did you hear about the Juggalos marching on Washington, D.C.? I did hear about that, and I think it was supposed to be scheduled for the same day as a pro-Trump rally. So if we get Juggalos fighting Trump supporters, I will officially never be able to come again because I will have already been satisfied as much as a human being can ever be satisfied. Favorite chick tract? The Last Generation, whichever one Harold Penisman is in, it's by far the best one. It's not even close. It's just insanity all the way down with that one. What do I think about VeggieTales? Funny you should ask that. My girlfriend and I watched VeggieTales the other day. I have a PureFlix subscription. If you don't know what PureFlix is, it's the Christian alternative to Netflix, and they have a lot of the VeggieTales on there. I was raised watching VeggieTales as a child. My church's library had them, so we rented them a lot. We watch them. I owned a lot of them. I have a nostalgic spot in my heart for VeggieTales. Now, when I watch it now, it's propaganda-y, but only in as much as Sunday school is. I don't think it teaches kids to hate other kids that aren't Christian or anything. I don't think it teaches bad messages. All it does is it says, hey, Christianity's true, believe in it. And while I disagree with teaching that to kids because I think that's not true, I don't think it's damaging, and the humor is actually kind of funny. I still find the jokes funny. The silly songs with Larry, still hilarious. The Cebu song, look that up on YouTube. A lot of my humor, I feel like, is developed from the Cebu song from VeggieTales. Look it up. Let's see. Have you ever read Rage? Most people haven't because you can only find it in some Bauchman books collections. The new ones don't. Nope, never heard of this. Sorry. Any opinions on Bernie's new healthcare plan? I do not know enough about it to have an opinion. I try and make that clear. But assuming it's like a Medicaid for all, I'm in favor of universal healthcare, whether it be single payer or some other form. Australia, as far as I understand, has a different form of universal healthcare, which is sort of a mix between private and public. But yeah, what we got right now ain't working. So I'm probably more in favor of Bernie's than I was of the Republican healthcare plan, which was not a plan. And I was not in favor of just getting rid of the ACA. Have you ever heard God's Perspective by Bo Burnham or The Loophole by Garfunkel and Oates? If so, what do you think of them? I love Bo Burnham. I have heard God's Perspective. His other one called Rant, I believe, is also good, where it's like all the seats at the Sunday masses filled with the masses, massive asses, classes pass as slow as molasses, ceremonial reading glasses. That's a good one. And yes, The Loophole. Garfunkel and Oates are very funny. If you like parody song comedy, they're pretty good. Which do you prefer, Bible Man or Kids Praise, and why? Oh, Bible Man by far. Bible Man at least is trying to be funny. Bible Man is trying to take a superhero concept and do jokes with it. Bible Man doesn't think it's serious. Willie Ames, when he was in that, knew it was silly and it would take shots at itself. Kids Praise is 100% genuine and 100% skeeves me the fuck out. So I really could do without Kids Praise. Bible Man I actually do enjoy to watch from time to time. What is my last name? Why would I tell you that on camera? Don't know why you think I would tell you that. Thoughts on BoJack Horseman and or Raising the Smoking Age? BoJack Horseman, I've only caught the first season. I really enjoyed it. I've heard it gets even better as it goes. Probably does. As far as Raising the Smoking Age, I don't know. our right now we're in kind of a weird place where as a society we haven't quite decided when being an adult starts. And I think we either need to raise the age of smoking to 21 or raise the age of when you can sign up to like the military and stuff to 21. You know what I mean? Like either have 18 be for everything or I don't know. I think it's weird though. But I don't know. Can you get Poisoning the Well to attract with you? Yeah, we can probably get. We've done stuff with them before. I'm sure we'll have them on at some point. We're busy right now. We haven't been doing a lot of collabs over the last month and a half, 2 months or so because of Jake's moving and my moving. It's making this all been just a nightmare. So that's why I've been doing weird stuff and weird stuff like this, where I'm doing a live thing. What led to your deconversion? I think it was just over time. As I got into high school, I got older and I started to think about what I believed and why I believed it. I started to think, I never really took the time to consider the things that were being said to me and told are true. Let's go back and sort of reverse engineer this. And on top of that, I started having depression, and I was trying to turn to religion to try and alleviate that depression. To no avail, which on top of my already growing doubts sort of spelled to me, okay, this stuff probably isn't true. It's not for me. That's basically how it went. Would you play Harold Penisman in a movie? Jake does Harold Penisman, so he'd probably play Harold Penisman in a movie. What's my least favorite vegetable? Brussels sprouts. Hugo, will Jake and yourself be attending MythCon? If so, would love to meet up and grab a beer with you guys. Don't know what MythCon is. Let me look it up. MythCon. Boop. I don't know. I can't find it quick enough for a video, but no. As far as I know, we're not going. Sorry. Do you play Magic the Gathering or any other card games? I don't play Magic the Gathering. Closest I got was in elementary. I played Pokemon a little bit. Would you play... Oh, no, already read that one. Talk about Ted... You spelled Ted Cruz wrong, but Ted Cruz on Twitter. The Ted Cruz porn thing is hilarious, but I really don't think it was him. It was probably an aide or something. I can't imagine Ted Cruz knows how the internet works, much less how Twitter works. Ted Cruz is not getting his porn on Twitter. He has a stash of dirty magazines under his bed like all old people. Someone else says, you look different. What happened? I lost 40 pounds. I'm not wearing a hat. And several people have complimented my jacket. So I think the combination of those three things. Do you think we'll see an openly atheist president in our lifetime? Probably. I don't think it'll be made a big deal of. I think it'll just get to the point where enough of the people in this country are either non-religious or a plurality of faiths to the point that Christianity is not the dominant view and atheism is not seen as a controversial opinion. It is just seen as one of the options. You know what I mean? Same as having a Jewish president, which I know we haven't had, or whatever. It'll just be a thing they are. What currency is that in? HUF. Okay, whatever. What do you think of Islam's denominations? I think it should be important to teach people TQR about them so they know who are the highest threats instead of being afraid of all of them. Yeah, that's why we're doing the Quran Reloaded. We've had to take a break again because of all this moving stuff, but that's one of the reasons we do it, is so people are more informed about what is actually in the Quran and not just basing it off what they see people doing ISIS stuff or whatever. Stuff like that. You get it. Do I play WoW? I have never played World of Warcraft. Someone says, do I say the N-word? Talking about the PewDiePie thing, I'm guessing. No, I try not to. If I'm actually talking about it in the context of like, okay, we're adults, we're going to talk about the use of this word, I don't have a problem saying it, but I try not to out of respect because I don't think it's my place to decide when and where that is said. But I don't have a problem with PewDiePie apologizing for that, by the way. He shouldn't have said that shit. What a moron. What else? What do you think is the most fun to do? Chick tracks, Christian movie reviews, Bible, Quran Reloaded, Unpop, answering comments? It depends. The movie reviews can be a ton of fun. Sorry, Jake's texting me. He's watching me do this right now. The movie reviews can be a ton of fun just because watching them can be fun. Christian Mingle, for instance, was a great one to watch just because of how non-offensive it was, but just kind of silly in what it was trying to do. Chick tracks are obviously fun just for the fact that Jake and I just get to sit around and fuck around and improvise with each other. They're all good for different reasons. I know that's kind of a shitty, I love all my kids the same answer, but there it is. Sorry, I love all my kids the same. Did the fact that you guys have YouTube as your job present any difficulties with getting your mortgage house? Yes. This always happens. Jake and I are used to it at this point, though, because we've dealt with, institutions and banks since we started doing this as a job. We have an LLC agreement. Once you pull that out and explain it to people, they basically get it. We have actual business. We are a business, if that makes sense. We have documentation that proves through taxes and our LLC agreement and various other legal documents and tax forms and stuff that we make money as a business. It's not as difficult as you would think it is, but it's more steps than you would go through if you have a typical 9-to-5 job with W-2s. Hugo, what happened to biblical conversations that must have happened? They'll still happen from time to time. Really, we just need to have a good idea for one. And honestly, it usually happens in conjunction with what we're talking about in the Bible. And not a lot's happening in the Bible right now. God's just bitching at the Israelites like he normally does. We're getting close to the New Testament, though. Expect a lot more of that during the New Testament when there's more actual story content going on that we can work with. Because think about it like in improv, because that's what it is. Those conversations are all improv. And from the audience, you need to shout out scenarios. Now, in this case, the audience is the Bible, and we need it to give us scenarios to work with God and Gabriel and Donna. But so far, there aren't really scenarios going on, so there isn't a lot of comedy we can derive from what's going on right now, but I don't know. It'll be back, though. I already read that one. Sorry. At Bible Reload. What hentai do you recommend? None of it. I recommend if you are into hentai, you take a look at yourself in the mirror and think, what could I be doing better to facilitate my life as a human being? What are you and Jake going to do? When are we going to do an episode of Epic Rap Battles of History like Key and Peele? When we have mainstream appeal. So never. Why don't you mention politics very often? We do mention it, but it's just a polarizing topic. Not to mention, I don't like to talk about things I'm not informed about. And as informed as I try to stay about politics, I think it's impossible to be completely informed. So I always find myself hesitant to state an opinion that is half-formed. Does that make sense? I don't want to come off like I think I know what I'm talking about and then spout absolute bullshit. And I feel like with politics, no matter how informed you are, 50% of it is always just spouting bullshit because politics, there's a lot of bullshit in it. So, I don't know. Maybe as we go on, we're going to talk about politics more, but it'll be labeled as such, so you don't wade into it if you don't want to, and I can understand that. Why are you wearing a wig over your hair? I'm not. This is my hair. Sorry. Pineapple on pizza. Disgusting unless you want to make your jizz taste yummy. Tell us your real name, you mother faker. No, I will not. People have figured it out, though, so if you're tenacious enough, you can find it out on your own. Whew. Going for the hipster Clark Kent look today. Yes, I am. Thank you for noticing. Why do you not answer my infant about kicking infants? You not kick an infant for $1 billion. That sentence got more confusing as it went, and I appreciate that. How's that hole in your wall? Yeah, I put a hole in my wall accidentally when I was doing something with my Mjolnir hammer. It's fine. It's fine. I hope I get my deposit back. Will you read the Apocrypha on the Bible Reloaded eventually? Probably. Do you Twin Peaks? When the revival got announced, and especially because Jay from Red Letter Media is such a big fan of Twin Peaks, I decided to check it out myself. I got a couple episodes into the first season. I will watch it eventually. It's just one of those things where I get other shows that I start to watch, and Rick and Morty's out. I'll watch Twin Peaks eventually. I get it. After watching the first 3 or so, I get why people are into it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind of weirdness. I get it. I'll watch it eventually. If you had to listen to a mainstream Christian or Muslim apologist for an entire day, who would you want to listen to, and who would you least wish to listen to, and why? Who's a mainstream Christian apologist I'd want to listen to? There isn't one. I mean, if I had... The one I'd least like to listen to is like a Josh Fierstein type who just spouts ass out of his fucking face. Ray Comfort's full of shit, but at least he kind of comes off as a nice guy. Like, he seems, you know what I mean? If you listen to him speak, he seems like a jovial person. He's not unpleasant to listen to. Josh Fierstein just sounds angry and like he's constantly waiting for his chicken nuggets for 5 minutes too long in the wait time in the line at McDonald's. And he's like, where's my chicken fucking nuggets? I don't know. Did that answer your question? I feel like it didn't, but I'm moving on anyway. What do you think the world will be like in 100 years? Probably mostly the same, just with cooler shit, less crime, higher temperatures. We're going to be dealing with a lot of migration issues because of climate change. Less fossil fuel use. At that point, we'll probably be trying to reverse effects of climate change with technology if possible. There will probably be some conflicts over land and water in the Middle Eastern areas where it's getting harder and harder to live. Other than that, I don't know. I'll be dead. I don't care. Do I like to talk to tomatoes? We already covered VeggieTales. Solid ref, though. Are we going to go on Drunken Peasants again soon? Been too long. If we're invited, absolutely. Thoughts on Dusty's rants on Jordan Peterson and by extension, Jordan Peterson. I did not see the rant. I do not know who Jordan Peterson is. Sorry. If there were 2 guys on the moon and one killed the other with a rock, would that be fucked up or what? Yeah, it'd be fucked up, man. Are you high? Because you seem high. Do you watch anime along with all that Marvel DC stuff you like? Tokyo Ghoul, Cowboy Bebop? I don't watch anime. My girlfriend is really into Dragon Ball and Full Metal Alchemist, both the regular series and Brotherhood. I've watched some Attack on Titan, but no, I've never really finished an anime series. The most I've ever watched is I watched all of Dragon Ball. Not Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, because she was watching it, and I got caught up. But nope, no anime. What's the plan with TBR once the Bible is done? Apocrypha stuff. We'll continue doing movie reviews, chick tracts. We'll do extra biblical material that is still biblically related, if that makes sense. So maybe we'll... apocryphal stuff, lost gospels, maybe go revisit some older stuff with fresh eyes. We'll see. We're a while off from that, though, so I'm not worried about it. Thoughts on C.S. Lewis? C.S. Lewis, while still full of shit, is one of the better apologists if you do read him. He doesn't seem like an insufferable cunt, unlike a lot of these modern-day ones. So if you're going to check out any sort of book on apologetics, then you don't want to be tearing your hair out necessarily out of frustration, out of how disingenuous they're being. Check out C.S. Lewis. You'll be like, okay, I disagree, but I see where you're coming from. Do you watch anime? Oh, I already answered that. Is there a YouTube channel you like to watch in your free time? Yeah, there are quite a few. I watch the Cinema Snob a lot, or Brad in general when he does his Brad tries or his midnight screenings with his buddies. Alison Pregler, she has a channel I watch quite a bit. Red Letter Media is probably my favorite. Ralph the Movie Maker. There are others. Lindsay Ellis, her long form essays are really, really well thought out. Every Frame a Painting. There are a lot of them. JonTron, but he doesn't do content very much anymore. So, dear Hugo and Jake, thank you. You have helped me smile when it seemed impossible to do in real life. I look forward to your videos every night and wish you both further success. And that was from a super chat. Thank you. And we're glad we can bring you some sort of, I don't know, enjoyment. Someone asks, Book of Mormon Reloaded? Absolutely. Already got it on my shelf. We're going to do it eventually. That'll also be coming after the Bible, probably. Sorry for my stroke. Would you kick a baby for $1 billion? My caps lock button is broken. Sure it is. Would I kick a baby for $1 billion? Do I get away with kicking the baby, or do I go to jail? Do I lose the $1 million? You know what I mean? Some sort of civil asset forfeiture? Like, are the parents going to sue me for $2 million in damages after I kick the baby? Then no. Are you a genie? Because I got this genie shit figured out. 1488 question mark? I don't know. What does that mean? Do you ever hear the 1488? It's the 14 words 888 HH. No, fuck that shit. All this alt-right white supremacist bullshit is fucking stupid, and honestly you should be embarrassed if you're a part of it. Like, it's embarrassing at this point. Which species is going to take our place in the world after the inevitable nuclear holocaust? Raccoons, bears, or chimpanzees? Not chimps, not bears, not raccoons, I would guess. Because all those things are mammals that are fairly similar to us in one way or another. If we die out because of nuclear radiation, they're certainly going to die out. So I'd guess some sort of sea creature. I'm going to go squid. Squids are going to take over. Let's see, what else? What's the genie shit you figured out? How to deal with genies? Duh. In your spare time, don't you figure out your genie wishes and make them airclad, airtight? In case you ever encounter a genie, you can trick them. I've seen Shazam. Kazam. Whatever. With the transformation of the channel to Hugo and Jake, what other kind of content can we expect in addition to the Bible Reloaded content? Yeah, in case anyone didn't hear about this, Jake and I are going to be changing the name of the channel from the Bible Reloaded to Hugo and Jake. Now, to be clear, the Bible Reloaded isn't going anywhere. All the content that's on this channel is staying the same. It's just so in addition, we can also do videos on things like politics and stuff, and it'll fit more the name of the channel. So we'll probably talk about politics, just modern stuff that's going on, even not related to politics, but just, you know, current events. Maybe just fun stuff, like some of the stuff we do over on Unpop, like food tasting stuff. We might do some of that over here. I don't know, stuff like this. It'll just give us a chance to do other stuff. And plus, I think having the name Bible in our name sort of turns people from both sides away. Because if you're an atheist, you might think, oh, is this a religious channel? And go away. Or if you're a Christian, you might see it and go, oh, this is some edgy atheist bullshit thing. Click away. We want our channel to be accessible to a lot of people, even if all the content isn't. I want people to be able to say, I like these guys, even if I don't like everything they do. And that's kind of what Hugo and Jake is going to be, is everything under one umbrella. Someone says, I donated $5 American. Hugo, answer my question. Re-ask it. I didn't catch it. Sorry. Spectacular Wanderer. I'm going to work. Now, do you think a heavy rash bag makes us a suitable noose? Oh, a heavy trash bag. No, it wouldn't. Is it Hefty brand? Maybe. Yes. Hefty, 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 wimpy, wimpy, wimpy. They should do an ad where it's like the hefty, 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 wimpy, 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 and the wimpy one, the garbage bag snaps and the person lives a fulfilling life, but the hefty, 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 they're dead. I'm a bad marketer. Have you and Jake ever thought of making a short film parody of Christian movies? If you watched our commentary track on God's Not Dead and God's Not Dead 2, we talk about making a movie called God Not Real, which is essentially God's not dead, but from the perspective of another student in the class watching all this unfold and being like, this is ridiculous and weird. So if we ever made a movie, it would probably be that. If I had to teach a class of Christians at church for a day, how would you go about it? Good question. I'd start with a basic quiz. I would ask them, I'm going to do a basic biblical knowledge quiz with all of you. And then it would include questions like who tempted Eve in the garden? How long was Noah's Ark out on the ocean? Stuff like that. Stuff that in popular culture typically leads people to answer stuff like 40 days and 40 nights. Oh, Satan did it. When those aren't the actual answers, to try and get them off balance and say, oh, maybe I don't know as much about the Bible as I thought. And then I'd try and go in and talk about contradictions in the Bible and how it's not necessarily divinely inspired. I'm not going to convince them, but hey, I'm in front of them for an hour. That's what I'm going to try and do. How do you feel about being a minor celebrity? Do you think about how many people know and watch you? I don't consider it minor celebrity as much as just like I have a lot of, people who are aware of who I am on like Twitter and YouTube and stuff. I have been recognized in person a couple times. It's not that weird. It's just like people recognizing you from high school, except you never knew them. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to lose weight but doesn't have the motivation or self-control to actually change their diet? If you're not going to change your diet, you got to exercise more, which I think takes more work than just changing your diet. And you're talking about laziness. Literally, if you're not motivated, all you have to do is not eat as much. Eat less of what you're eating now. Now, you still need to eat enough to live, don't get me wrong, but you can figure out all this stuff online. There's resources for weight loss and what your BMR and everything should be, how much you should be eating a day versus how much you're actually eating. You can figure all this out, but either you got to eat less or eat better or move more. That's how it works. Sorry, I didn't write physics. Will you review I Am Michael? I've never heard of it. Maybe. As you are getting older, do you plan to diversify your income outside of YouTube and maybe invest in some company? I don't know. I already have a Roth IRA. I put money into it regularly. I have investments and stuff. I don't know. What are your opinions on the Satanic Temple and their efforts to support separation of church and state, women's reproductive rights? I think it's great. For those of you who don't know, the Church of Satan often will get involved if, for instance, people go into a high school and they're like, hey, we're going to pass out free Bibles. The Church of Satan will come in and say, that's fine, but we're going to pass out Satanist coloring books. And it's very tongue-in-cheek and funny. And they basically promote, hey, if you're going to have Christianity in the public square, everything needs to be in the public square, including Satanism. And that usually gets people to say, okay, none of it's allowed. And that, keeps everything secular. So I think it's great. Would you be upset if your family tried to teach your child Christianity? This is a problem I'm facing with my daughter. Not sure how to approach it. Yes, I don't plan on having kids, but if I did, and I found out, for instance, my mother, who is religious, was secretly, without my knowledge, trying to teach it to them, she would be banned from seeing them. And that I'm not saying this is what you should do. I'm just saying that would be my parenting style. Is these are my children. And if I tell you I don't want you to teach them things a certain way and teach them things are true that I don't think are, then you are not to do so. Otherwise, you do not get access to my children. That's me. I'm a put the foot down kind of guy. You might not be. You might want to just talk to them and say, listen, this is important to me that you not do this. And then have follow-up conversations with the kids to try and straighten out whatever misinformation they may have been given. I don't know. It's a rough situation. Would you consider doing the I hate saying this word, Silmarillion Reloaded? Those crazy J.R.R. Tolkien fanatics need you to put in their place. I don't like The Lord of the Rings. I don't like The Hobbit. I'm a sci-fi guy. I love science fiction, the future. Fantasy's never been my thing. The closest I get is reading the Bible to reading fantasy on a day-to-day basis. I don't I don't know why. I can't connect to the world. It's not interesting to me, typically. So probably not. Would you ever review any foreign Christian movies? There's an adventurous movie in Brazil that is so bad it becomes good. If it has subtitles or dubbed, yes. And we got a copy. Should a trans person who is indistinguishable from a woman make it clear before any sexual encounter? Oh, gee, see here, this is why I should read the questions before I even read them. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I think that's a complicated situation. It's an identity politics thing, which I tend not to delve into. I think it's complicated because on the one hand, is it misleading for that person to not say to the person up front, hey, you might not be into what's going on downstairs? On the other hand, though, there is a fear of retribution because there are people who get violent at people who are transgender. So I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, that's the best answer I can give you. I don't know how I feel about that. I would say it comes down to the particular trans person. They can make that decision for themselves, and I don't know. Tough question. Atheist YouTuber convention? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. We've talked about doing a Camp Hugo and Jake maybe next year where people from around this area can come up to a campground and hang out with Jake and I for a couple days, for a weekend or whatever. So we might do that, but that's just us. That's not including other people unless they decide to come on their own. The Vedas Reloaded, stuff on Hinduism, maybe eventually. The further away we get from Christianity, the less comfortable I get doing it, just because that's where my upbringing comes from. So I feel like I can lend sort of a personal touch to the video where I can share my own experience. Even when we get to the Quran stuff, it almost feels mean sometimes, though, because it's like, I don't have personal experience with this. I'm just commenting on another culture's religion. And while it is still bullshit, I'm not saying, all cultures are equal, whatever. That's not what I'm saying. Still, I think someone with a background from that culture can criticize it with a little bit more legitimacy than I can. So when we get into the Vedas, same thing applies. We can talk about them, we can make fun of them, but I don't think it'll ever feel as credible as when we're taking on the Bible because I know more about it and I was raised with it. So, I don't know. We'll get to it eventually. The tone might be a little different, though. Have you read the comic God is Dead? It's a great palate cleanser for all the shitty religious shit you watch. It's all out. Brutal war between every god ever. No, I have not. I'll check it out, though. Sounds interesting. Do I play modern board games? Do you mean like Settlers of Catan? Like, the more complicated board games and stuff that come out now? I don't. This Sunday, though, I'm playing D&D for the first time with Jake and our girlfriends and a couple other people. So I know that's not the same thing, but have you had to make any specific changes to your content due to the increased YouTube demonetization? Surprisingly, no. Our channel, for whatever reason, we've been very careful with tags always, so we've been pretty fine. But again, being the channel called The Bible, our ad rates have gone down. But again, that's one of the reasons we're changing to Hugo and Jake. How about the Epic of Gilgamesh Reloaded? Maybe, like, once we're done with most of the major religious texts, just for fun. What novels are you reading, or did you last read? The last one I read was A Disaster Artist in getting ready for the movie. Very entertaining story about the making of The Room. If you haven't seen The Room, very entertaining, bad film. I highly recommend the book, The Disaster Artist, before you see the movie as well. When you were in court for the... When you were in court for the lawsuit, did you swear an oath on the Bible and giggle, or use secular, atheistic alternative nobody knows about? With the lawsuit, we never ended up having to actually go into a courtroom. It was all settled outside of court. So luckily we didn't have to do that, though I did think to myself beforehand, if we have to go in for a deposition, how are we going to handle this? It's going to be a little bit funny. Honestly, I'd probably just swear on the Bible and just giggle about it to myself, because I understand the symbolic reason for it. I'm not going to lie under oath anyway, so I don't care what I'm swearing on. Who likes nipple play more between you and Jake? This is true. I don't like my nipples touched. It feels weird. I don't like it. Don't touch my nipples. What was you... I'm not reading that question, really. Would you ever review shitty Christian music, Skillet, Toby Mac, etc.? That is a minefield of DMCAs that I don't even want to deal with. Actually, Hymnalysis, who does a channel that deals with hymnals and stuff, does something similar to what you're describing with Christian music. I applaud him for doing that because I'd be so afraid of the music getting hit in every single video over the DMCAs. So check out Hymnalysis if you want something like that, though it tends to be with hymnals, not modern Christian pop. Though he did do something actually recently with I Can Only Imagine that I did an interview for. So check that out. Why is there a Google watermark on the screen? It's because this is done through Google Hangouts, and that's how it works. You paid $2 for that question? That's weird. Will you ever do another charity event that will lead to more of you licking butter off your fresh nips? We're going to have to figure out something different this year than butter nips if we reach our goal. Again, with the moving, I don't know if we'll do it this year, but if not, it'll definitely happen next year, and we'll have to come up with a different, if we reach our goal, what we have to do. Where's Jake? Jake is at his house doing whatever Jake does when I'm not around. I don't know. Believe it or not, we don't live together. Hey, Hugo, do you prefer girth or length? You need a good ratio. The ratio is more important than one or the other. It's not a zero-sum game, you know? The girth will affect the length that is acceptable and vice versa. Can you play some guitar for us someday? I will once I learn. Do you know about your verbal tick anyways? Yeah, I know I say it a lot. Also, I know anyways isn't even a word. It's anyway, but I just do it all the time. It's a habit. I'm trying to stop it, especially considering I speak for a fucking living. You'd think I'd be able to control my speech patterns, but there you go. Anyways. Do we speak any foreign languages? I don't. I did bad in Spanish. I don't know about Jake. He speaks... Oh, another weird currency one. NOK. I don't know what that is. I have ice cream in my mustache. Well, then lick it out. It's going to get dry and sticky. One of you has to take a body shot out of a belly button instead of licking butter off of nipples. That is my contribution. That's a good one. Maybe if we reach our goal for the next charity event, one of us has to do a body shot off the other. Because believe it or not, we're not gay and not interested in each other, so that actually would be fucking disgusting if I had to do a body shot off Jake, or vice versa. When did you get your cool jacket? So many people focused on this fucking jacket. This is like, I just got this at fucking Kohl's. This wasn't even why I went to the store that day. It's just a jacket. Calm down. Have you read the 5-part series of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or seen the newer movie? I have read parts of the first book, Hitchhiker's Guide. I have it on my shelf. I haven't finished it. And yes, I've seen the movie. I enjoy the writing style of Douglas Adams. I get it. It's funny. It's very funny. I just haven't made my way through the book yet. And while I didn't like the movie on first viewing, the more I watch the movie, I do actually enjoy it. Though I can tell it omits a lot from the book. So I would assume people who enjoy the book probably don't like the movie very much. What are your favorite type of fan questions, conversations on Twitter? Any. I don't really have a preference. Anytime you guys want to get involved and have an honest discussion with us or ask a question, I like to joke questions sometimes too, because you can sometimes be clever. What I hate is if you make just a really obvious joke. Because it's like, neither of us are getting anything out of that. So I have a lake house in Michigan, and I'd rent it out to y'all for camping and Hugo and Jake. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Ever heard to or listened to Adventures in Odyssey? Yes, when I was a kid, I liked Adventures in Odyssey, and there was this one, for those of you who don't know, it was a Christian radio series that ran on Christian radio. It was like radio dramas, but for kids and Christian themed. There was one that I rented from church, because it was also an audio cassette series you could rent. And there was one where a kid used basically a holodeck. They had a holodeck on the show. And he was like, what if my parents let me do whatever I want? And the moral of the episode was, oh, listen to your parents. But like, he gets crippled. He becomes a paraplegic. It's really messed up. So I don't know if anyone hasn't heard of Adventures in Odyssey. I don't know. That one kind of messed me up for a while. Am I a fan of any particular cartoons? I love Avatar and Steven Universe. Last Airbender is excellent. Korra is excellent. Adventure Time is excellent. Rick and Morty is excellent. BoJack Horseman is excellent. Steven Universe is really good. The original Powerpuff Girls I enjoyed. Dexter's Lab I enjoyed. The new DuckTales is shaping up to be pretty good. That's all I got for you right now. This person says, I'm an atheist and my fiance is a generic Christian. She'd like our baby to be baptized, and I have no real problem with this. What are your thoughts on this? Well, it seems like you have a solution already. You don't have a problem with it. She wants it done. Okay, do it. Are you looking for someone else outside of the situation to be mad about it? Because I'm not. It's your kid. I wouldn't have my kid baptized, but I also don't think it's going to hurt him. You can always talk to him later and say, yeah, you were baptized, but if you don't think that's a thing you want to be, you don't want to be Christian, it's fine. It didn't really count. It's just water. That's my opinion, at least. Determinism or free will? I don't believe in free will, especially as someone who takes medication for anxiety. I am acutely aware of how our minds control what we think more so than the opposite. Does that make sense? I feel like what we think of as free will tends to be more post hoc rationalizations than anything for things our brains have already decided we're going to do. I don't know. Gravity Falls, another great cartoon. If you haven't seen Gravity Falls, excellent series, ended right when it needed to. Really good villain. Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack is also good. I enjoyed that as well. Why do you like Steven Universe? It's just fun, got good characters. I've only seen the first season, I guess. If it got worse over time, I don't know. But I like Steven. He's a fun character. The mythology seems interesting and stuff. What countries have you been to? Are there any you'd like to visit? I've only been to the United States. I haven't been international, not even to Canada, despite the fact that we're right there on the border. I'd like to go to the UK. A lot of places in Europe, probably. That's it. I don't know. Australia. Mostly Western countries, mostly. I don't know. Some places in Asia. I'm not that interested in being cultured. I'm kind of a piece of shit. How depressed you were? I assume you mean were you? In high school, I tried to kill myself, which we're going to talk about probably in our review of Ray Comfort's Exit, which is about suicide. Yeah, I've dealt with clinical depression before and anxiety issues, which I'm on medication for now, actually. But yeah, pretty depressed, I guess. I'm fine now, by the way, if anyone's worried. I'm perfectly fine. What's your favorite book about atheism? Ooh, good question. I'll have to think about that one. Maybe I'll come up with an answer, or maybe I'll stew on it and never answer it. Who knows? Favorite subreddits? The movie subreddits, movies, television, movie details, true film. I also really like Ask Science Fiction, because I like to delve into the canons of various fictional universes and whatnot. Steven Universe has only gotten better over time. You're missing out on a good plot. This is making me cry, knowing my one and only idol doesn't love the same show I do. Ew. Chill out. But I'll watch it eventually. I know it's good. My girlfriend's watched it more than I have. Also, if I'm your only idol, get some better idols. I'm only a little disappointed you aren't gay. We could be a power couple. Let me look at your picture. Are you attractive enough? You pass. If I was into it, okay. But, you know. If you and Jake had to fight to the death with the Kirk versus Spock music in the background, of course, for those of you who are not familiar, it's the dun 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 dun. Who would win? If we have the staffs like they had in that episode, I want to say it was called a muck time. Could be wrong. I'm going to say I would win. I have more maneuverability over Jake. I'd definitely slice him right through the belly. I've been a fan since episode 11 of the Bible study. I've changed a lot as a person and transitioned from male to female. Oh, congratulations. It's silly, but you guys mean a lot to me. How much money for personal convo? Oh, just follow me on Twitter or whatever. I'll have a conversation with you if you want. I don't care. I'll assume you have the same Twitter handle as this or something, or tweet me, and I'll talk to you if you want. I guess. But you don't have to give us money for that. Come on. You're talking to me right now. It's fine. What do you think of all those weird Asian religions? Those weird Asian religions. I think they might have something to say about all those weird Anglo religions. Anyway, I don't know. Some of them are interesting. There's an interesting Netflix series on Buddha I would recommend everyone check out just for the sheer campiness of it. I think it's just called Buddha. Check it out. Why does everyone think you're single? Probably because my girlfriend hasn't appeared on the show in a really long time and I don't talk about her a lot on the show. Also, Jake and I make a lot of gay jokes. Also, I use a lot of self-deprecating humor, which would sort of preclude me having any sort of positive relationships, though I do in real life. What is your diet regimen? You look great, by the way. Thanks. I just eat less food. I've got to go do psychological research. Thanks for being awesome. Oh, go and enjoy doing your research. You're sure? I hope it's good work. I actually went to school for a while to be a psychologist. I wanted to do research. Didn't work out, though. Now I'm doing this. Is it a step up, a step down, or lateral? Don't know. Okay. I copied your Twitter handle. Follow me. I'll follow you back. You can DM me later if you want. How would you... I'm talking to the person who... You guys know what I'm talking about. How would you rate the 3 Powerpuff Girls from best to worst? Best is the green one, then the blue one, then the pink one's the worst. She gets on my nerves. She's too... I just don't like her. And I know their names are Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. I just, for other people's sake, color-coded them. I also suffer from depression, but I'm terrified of taking medication because of increased risk of suicide being a similar side effect of meds. What kind of BS is that? I would highly recommend, if you are clinically depressed, please talk to someone and don't be afraid of the medication because, well, there can be side effects. If those side effects occur and you start to feel suicidal, there are hotlines and you should call the doctor immediately and they can change your medications. And they can, do stuff. It's always better to talk to them about it, okay? I understand the worry, and there's always the worry of the side effects, but you should talk to your doctor about it. You can talk to them about your concerns, and they can explain why those side effects are rare in most people. And when they do occur, all you have to do is they'll change around the medication, and that'll stop. It's okay. I highly recommend you talk to your doctor about that. Because I just speaking personally, for anxiety issues, made quality of life 1,000 times better. It can not overnight because SSRIs take at least 2 weeks to kick in, but really, really help your frame of mind, make your sleep better, make your days better. Oh, you wouldn't believe how exhausted I was all the time. Could you whore the Discord too? Jake is pretty active there if people wanted to talk. Yeah, I gotta go to the Discord more. We have our own Discord, by the way, Discord server. If anyone wants to link it in the chat, that'd be great, because I don't have a link on me right now. What else? 4,000-year-old words. The lines of sky and earth stretched where horizons meet the separate... I don't know why did you at Bible Reloaded me? That's not a... question. Have you read Ready Player One and are you excited about the movie? I have the book so much. I hope the movie is Oh, you said, I hate the book so much, I hope the movie is better. I have read Ready Player One. I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the references, but I agree the writing style is bad. I don't like it. I think he tried to just cram so many references in there as he could, and his second novel, which is about an alien invasion, kind of shows without the references in there, his writing style doesn't hold up, I think. But anyway, the concept is good, and Steven Spielberg coming in makes me confident the movie could be pretty good. Though it's not like prime Spielberg. It's, 2017 Spielberg, so we'll see. But I'm optimistic. Would you consider what you and Jake do queer baiting being entertainers with gay watchers? What does that mean? What's queer baiting mean? I have no idea what that means. What? No. Would you ever do videos criticizing conspiracy theories? They're basically modern fundamentalists. That'd be a good thing to do when we transfer over to Hugo and Jake, and we can include that. Like we said, the content that is here will remain, but we can do extra stuff on top of it. Conspiracy theory videos would be a good thing to tackle. What else? What else? Have you ever sent a nude? Yes, I have. I'm not proud of it. I don't now. I was younger at the time. Why are vaginas so disgusting? I'm guessing because you were a homosexual. Or that person has an infection that they need to be have checked out. Anal? Question mark? There's literally 2 butt plugs right there, so that should answer your question. Are all your channels combining into Hugo and Jake, or will the Quran Reloaded and Unpopular Culture stay the same? They will stay the same and separate. The Quran will stay separate because that is much more likely to... Sorry, I'm getting voicemails and stuff. Because that's more likely to get flagged and stuff when you don't want other stuff to get caught up in that. But Hugo and Jake will be here, and Unpop will remain sort of just movies and TV and game stuff. I'm going to wrap up here pretty soon, by the way, guys. It's been, oh my God, it's been an hour. Yeah, I'm going to wrap up here soon. So if anyone has any final questions for me. Is this a deep enough question? No. What made you choose the nickname Hugo, or how did you get the nickname if you didn't choose it? It was given to me in band in high school. I don't know why. It just stuck. Thoughts on J.J. Abrams being chosen to direct episode 9? Very excited because the guy who was supposed to direct it before him was the guy who did Jurassic World, and he is terrible. So I'm really, really glad. Okay, he's not terrible. That's a really mean thing to say. I just didn't like Jurassic World, and I didn't think it was directed competently enough to have him come on and do Star Wars right after. And I thought the directing of Star Wars Episode 7 was fine. Well, the plot was derivative of Episode 4. The directing was not a problem in that film. So it's great. Serious question for a former Christian. What would you suggest to cope with the idea that everything we know ends instead of transcending, dealing with this? The way I tackle it is I don't look at it as everything we know isn't permanent and will someday cease to exist. I look at it as the things that we enjoy got a chance to exist at all. There's no reason I should exist, my girlfriend or Jake or the people I care about should exist, but they do, and I'm lucky enough to have them in my life, I should say. So, I don't know, that's how I look at it. I feel lucky to have the life I have and have the things I have, as opposed to looking at it as an inevitable loss. You should look at it as it wasn't inevitable that you would have those things in the first place. Be fortunate you have them. It's a perspective thing. The medication helps. Do you have testicles, and do you shave them? Yes. And yes. Who's doing episode 8? Who is directing episode 8? I actually don't remember. Someone in the comments get me, because I don't know. What did I play in band? Trumpet, tuba, and for a brief stint, percussion. What is your personal favorite ocean? Indian Ocean, Underdog Ocean. Always go for the underdog. I need to make a presentation about belief, but religion is too obvious a choice. My friend proposed people who believe in conspiracy theories, if you'd call it that. Ideas? Well, what's it's a presentation about belief, but what are the I don't know what the assignment is, essentially. Sorry, can't help you unless you a little more specific. Are traps gay? I've said this time and time again. If their dick is bigger than yours, yes. Have you read Demon by Daniel Suarez? It's like Ready Player One without references. A lot darker, more violent, higher stakes, believable villains. Haven't. I'll check it out, though. Should I become a biophysicist? I don't know. Can you do that? Are you smart? Are you dumb? Is that something that interests you? Can you afford the schooling for it? There are a lot of factors that go into that decision. Probably shouldn't ask Internet Man that. Aren't I afraid of being attacked by angry theists who may recognize me on the street? No. No, I'm not. Favorite type of music? Pretty eclectic. I like show tunes, believe it or not. You'll probably believe it. When the truth comes out, does Hugo is gay? Nope. When's the next Let's Play coming? Unpopular RIP to my man Kenneth soon. Kenneth will be coming back. No pineapple on pizza to that question. Are reverse traps gay? Yes. Are the French gay? Some of them. If you hit your goals this time, you have to mass send nudes. Nah. I'm okay with keeping my dick a secret from you people. Yeah, you just don't need to see it. It's not that impressive. Have you read Blood? Nope, didn't read that. Book of Mormon musical thoughts, very funny. Andrew Ramos does a great job in the original soundtrack, as does what's his face from Frozen. It's a well-made musical, very funny. I also like Hamilton. If anyone's curious what I'm listening to currently, I like the Hamilton soundtrack quite a bit. Do you think in the current YouTube climate for new persons to become famous? Also kind of botched the sentence structure there, but YouTube is a real hard place to break out in any fashion, much less famous. I'd argue even PewDiePie, who has, I think, at one point held the record for the most famous YouTuber, had the most subscribers. I wouldn't consider mainstream famous. YouTube is its own little thing. I never look at YouTube fame as fame. It's, you know, a niche little internet thing. If you were a woman and you and Donald Trump were the last humans on the planet, would you smash? No. I'd smash his head in with a rock. Is that what you mean? But his dick isn't going near me. Real question here. What are your thoughts on VR if you have any? Very cool. I love VR. I have PlayStation VR, which I know is nothing compared to the Oculus and the Vive, but I enjoy it for what it is, and I'm excited for the future of it and the future iterations. This is the person from earlier that's specifying the project they're writing about. The project is just to talk about belief in general, no specific limitations. If I interpret it simply discussing the psychological impact of belief on the person. Yeah, conspiracy theories could be interesting then. I always like the idea of conspiracy theories because stuff like 9/11 conspiracy theories and JFK ones, I kind of understand because it's scary to think that one person just deciding, or a group of people, when talking about 9/11, could just decide to do something incredibly destructive and there's nothing you can do about it because it's just unpredictable. But that's the reality. Any day, one person could get a gun and go into your place of work and shoot everyone there and everyone would probably die. But that's not how I choose to look at it. I choose to look at it as every day you go to work and that doesn't happen for 99.99999% of people. Most days, planes don't fly into buildings. And on the days they do, there are more people running into those buildings to try and save people than there were people flying into the buildings in the first place. You know what I mean? That's how you have to look at it. And that's how I think a lot of us got fucked up after 9/11, is not looking at it that way. And that's how the Patriot Act happened. And that's a whole other story, but I don't know. Thoughts on giving the UN more power, i.e. financially, militarily, political. It's a double-edged sword. I don't know. I think we need more global unification work. We need to work on things that affect us all globally as a unit. Things like climate change, things like North Korea. What are we going to do? Because that's an elephant in the room everyone's going to have to deal with at some point or another. It's going to destabilize the region when that shit pops off, whether it be through nuclear weapons or just a bunch of refugees fleeing into China. So, I don't know. What is your opinion on morality being objective or subjective? I think morality is subjective, but I don't think that means anything is permissible. I don't think that means that your subjective morality is equal to my subjective morality. Does that make sense? I will stand by my opinion that murdering people for fun is wrong, even though you think morally that's okay, for instance. I think it's okay to say morals are subjective while also saying the way I have determined my morals is superior to yours. Does that make sense? So I can say morality is subjective, but don't cut clits off young women in Africa because I consider that wrong because my morality is based off of empathy. You know what I mean? It's a discussion you take part in. Morality isn't a set of things. It's something you participate in. Let's take 3 more questions and then I'll be done. Why is it bad when North Korea has nukes and it's okay when almost all Western powers have nukes? Because North Korea is not a stable country, is the short answer. And they're using it as a bargaining chip and using basically their entire population as hostages in a situation where they know that it's a whole thing. There's a difference between America having nukes and North Korea having nukes. Now, if you want to talk about nuclear weapons in general and their use and mutually assured destruction and game theory and whether or not it's a good thing for all these countries to have nukes or not, you could talk about Israel and them having nukes. Is that protecting them or making them more of a target in the region? Whatever. Blah, 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 blah. It's a whole other story. But North Korea having nukes is objectively worse than the United States having nukes or France having nukes or the UK having nukes or whatever. Come on. Dianetics Reloaded. Yeah, we'll probably do Scientology at some point. That one's going to be difficult, though, because they do not like people criticizing them. And then we'll take one more question, but it's got to be a good one, so let's find a good one. Why does your hair color not match your beard? Is it a wig? No, it's not. It's just weird genetics. My beard comes in a little bit different color than my hair. I don't know why. My beard is actually more similar in color to my great-grandfather's beard. He had a similar color. Don't know why. And did I kill Jake? Yes. Glanderson Booper? Speeches at secular conventions? If we're invited. Fuck it. Lightning round. Let's just keep this going. Hugo without a hat. Yep. I love you, my sweet prince. Thank you. Love you too. Is this a good question? No. Are you hiring? I hate my job. No, we're not. We need to do things that affect everyone globally. You told me I didn't matter to you in a live stream because I live in New Zealand. Yeah, you live in New Zealand. Fuck you. New Zealand is not part of planet Earth. It's part of Mordor or Middle Earth, whatever. Glanderson Booper. Bad habits. I bite my nails. It's real bad. Finland. Do you listen to Doctor Who audio dramas? No, but I want to. I've listened to a couple. I want to get into it. Do you think do you think infant circumcision should be outlawed? Yes. Will the chick tract with Kyle Kalinske ever happen? Most likely. Is Clara the Doctor's best companion? Fuck no. Will you get a pet? Yes, probably a dog. Hugo, you got the hipster look going on. Thanks for noticing, babe. What's your favorite geek myth? Polybus game. BoJack Horseman. It's great. Would you like to see a Pure Flix Bibleman cinematic universe? Absolutely. With Willie Ames, please. Does Santa rent your rosy cheeks for Christmas Eve? Oh, you know it. Pine beetles are dicks. I don't know. What are pine beetles? Send nukes. Do you think modern society can recover from identity politics? Oh, identity politics. Are we going to talk about this? Oh, boy. Oh, no. Not even going to start on that one. What kind of guitar is that? A Yamaha. Guns are fun. favorite word to come to? Shazam! Do you watch Linkara? I do. What's your favorite gay porn vid? I don't know. Who's your favorite televangelist? Joel Olstein, because he's the only one I can think of off the top of my head right now. Who's your favorite? Nope, that's the same question again. The Juggalos stand with you, my brethren. Please don't. Please stand somewhere else. I don't like the smell of Fago. Will you visit the birthplace of Abrahamic religions? I'd rather not. Would you ever review classic Doctor Who? Maybe. Favorite foreign accent? British. Batman or Bible Man? Come on. Dr. Horrible sing-along blog? Excellent. The hammer is my penis. That's a reference. Is it gay to suck your own dick? No. Will you ever go H3H3 podcast? I'd love to if we were ever invited. Are Juggalo traps gay? No, but they're trashy. The Juggalos stand with you. You just don't spam. Do the curtains match the drapes? Sure. Have you guys considered doing debates? King Crocoduck has been debating Kent Hovind, and it's been amazing. I'm not really great at debates. I'm too snarky for that shit. I can't handle people's disingenuous nature without calling them out on it. It's not very polite. Would you like to see a super cute Harold Penisman? Sure. What is your favorite what? I don't know what that means. Are you excited about Daredevil Season 3 and Kingpin finding out who Daredevil really is? Yes. Is Ted Cruz the Zodiac Killer? He was 8 when that was happening, so yes. Are you my dad? You look like my dad. Yep. Cinema Snob Team Up? Yep. What do you prefer, the British ideal or the Yank ideal? I don't know what that means. What's the longest you've ever let your pubes grow? I don't know, probably from, puberty to whenever I discovered manscaping. How much money would you have to get to juggle poop? I can juggle. So, I don't know. Thoughts on Ohio? I don't have any. What college should you go to? SVSU. Do you stand with Sargon of Akkad against Muslims and Oh, God, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not touching that one. I don't talk about that shit. What's your opinion on broccoli? I like broccoli. Is Trump secretly a 6-foot Chinese baby? That would explain a lot, actually. Have you ever seen Jake's penis? I have not. Are you interested in math at all? I'm really bad at it. No. Hot sauce dickhole. Ugh. As in the British bowler hat sipping tea in North Yorkshire cottage versus whatever the quintessential American is. Oh, so like American culture versus British culture. American culture. Though I can appreciate British culture. What's my opinion on heavy metal? Don't have one. If you could punch any communist in all of history, who would you punch? Stalin, I guess, if you want to even count him as a... I mean, I know he is a communist, but like communists would argue with you about that, so... Did you know your glasses make you look older and sexier? Thank you. Am I secretly a 6-foot Chinese baby? No, I'm only 5'6". You nailed the rest, though. American culture? Question mark. Good point. I messed up a scripture I was making for art class. Do you want a plastic mold of my ass? What's your ass look like? So you guys have had... So you guys never had a threesome with each other? No. Jake is not a person I would ever want to see naked. No. What is best in life? I forgot the line from Conan. I know what you're referencing, though. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of the women. Yeah, that's the line. Have you read the comic Low? Nope. Do Black Lives Matter? Yep, but the organization is making poor decisions. Hugo, where did all the fat go? I respirated it out of my body and pooped it. Identity politics. No thanks. Are hurricanes Mother Nature's fidget spinners? Fidget spinner memes are dead. Do I have that? Lightning round fidget spinner. Thoughts on plaster cast? What? Podcasts you like? I used to like Remember When. Jake has been friend zoned by Hugo. Someone must tell him. Yeah, someone give him a call. Dawkins, Hitch, or Harris? Hitchens. Do you stand with PewDiePie? Here's the thing about PewDiePie saying the N-word. He said it just slipped out. That kind of thing only slips out if you say it casually all the time. He should have apologized for that. I'm glad he apologized. It was a dick move. Come on. It's fucking immature, to be completely honest, and I swear all the time. That's just being a douche. Are you basing your look on the caricatures and Chick Tracks? Why am I starting to look like one of them? That'd be great. How close to 1984 do you think the world is? Not as much as people would say. Yeah. It's closer to Brave New World than I think 1984. Thoughts on all new, all different Marvel? I haven't been following it. I'm sorry. I usually wait years behind and then I get trades. Just because it's more convenient for me. So I don't keep up on comics as they're coming out as single issues. So sorry. Literally, I just picked up all the Secret Wars stuff. So I don't know. I'm not caught up. Are you? People keep asking about the guitar. In fairness, I guess I put it there. Yeah, I'm still learning it. Where should I start if I want to watch Doctor Who? You can start on the rebooted series, on series 1 with that came out in 2005. If you start to watch it, but it's kind of boring to you or you don't like it, skip to series 5, which is where Matt Smith starts. It's sort of a soft reboot where you can kind of get on, and it treats it as if the audience is new and you can get information as it goes, and then you can go back and rewatch, I think, the start at 2005. And then if you want, go back and watch classic Doctor Who from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and, you know. Have you read Victor Hugo's book? Victor Hugo, what has he written? Last book, I'm reading Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde right now, so that's not him, is it? I don't remember. Do you think Chick Tracks will get better? I agree the last one was lackluster, but I'm optimistic that they will get better. I don't know. I think a lot of what made Chick Tracks great was Jack Chick and his propensity for just putting the weirdest shit in there and having the weirdest moral compass. So, if anything, I think they'll just get blander and blander till they're watered down and boring, just like every other tract. There's a reason we do Chick Tracts and not other tracts. Chick Tracts were a very special thing, and I think with his passing, really, we're not going to get a really true Chick Tract again, but who knows? I'm optimistic. Oh, Les Mis and the Hunchback of Notre Dame. No, I haven't read either. Les Mis is just a freaking huge book, and no, I haven't read Hunchback. Hugo can't count to 3. Nobody tell him. I know. I keep going. Will you please do more voice acting for Dark Matter 2525? If he asks us on, as always, we do stuff when we're asked. Who's the last person you've talked? Who's the last person I talked to? Jake? Do you think you and Jake will review The Case for Christ? Probably. Do you watch NASCAR? No. Thoughts on the Punisher Netflix series? John Bernthal did a great job in Daredevil Season 2. He was one of the best parts of that series, so I'm hoping Punisher will be good. If the real Jesus Christ came back today, would anyone believe him? Does he do miracles? Does he do demonstrable miracles to people? Then yes, probably. Do I like Sweeney Todd? I like Sweeney Todd. I don't like the movie version with Johnny Depp, because Helena Bonham Carter in that, I feel like her singing voice is really bad for what's the name of her character? Mrs. Lovett's Meat Pies or whatever. I don't like her singing voice in that. It's bad. Her Cockney accent or whatever accent she's doing there. I know she's British, but the accent she's putting on there is a little heavy and hard to understand. Should I text back the Christian guy that wants to take me on a date? How Christian is he? I don't know. Is he a nice guy? I mean, I don't outright, like, I'm not single, but if I were, I wouldn't outright put religious people, you know, off my list of people that I could have a potential relationship with just because. All right, now I'm really only going to take 5 more questions, and then I'm really, 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 really done because I have a couple voicemails I got to read or listen to. When's the new set going to be ready? Jake's into his house. The new set is going to be at his house. So whenever we get a couch in there and shelving put up for that, and then we're going to have to get some tripods for the different cameras. So I don't have a time frame for you, but those are the things that have to happen before we actually film there. Have I seen Ozark? No, not yet, though I've heard it's good. It's on my list on Netflix. Why are the pictures on my wall crooked? Those are just Goodwill pictures I found, and I was taking down my other stuff because I'm moving, so I just figured I'd throw them up just so there's something back there. It's haphazard. I think that was 3, so 2 more. Can we get a few more movie reviews from you guys? Yeah, we should have one coming out either this week or next week, probably this week. You and Jake are pretty close. Are you a non-sexual gay couple? Jake and I are not a couple. We're not. We both have girlfriends. Sorry. And I guess that's all the questions. So thank you all for coming for this sort of impromptu live thing. Lasted an hour and a half. I really didn't expect to be doing this for this long. I also don't know why I'm wearing headphones, I guess, because I didn't need to be at all for that. Anyway, so thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all the questions. God, so many more questions. Do I like Penn and Teller? Yeah, they're great. Oh, that's a bad word you're using. Anyway, I gotta go. I like talking to you guys, but anyway. And the person who I said I'd DM, I'll DM you right now. So anyway, until next time, I'm Hugo, and that's it. Wait, how do I end this? Do I just have to exit out? I actually don't know, because this is different than normal. Here we go. Bye.